Attention all Autobots. Optimus Primal will not be sharing his bananas. My banana. Hello everyone, Dan the 14th Prime here. Want to share with you today the Year of the Monkey Transformers Generations Optimus Primal 20th anniversary of Beast Wars. This is the Platinum Edition. I will say this figure has not been incredibly popular. It's been out since the beginning of the year. I've been intentionally avoiding it. It comes with a suggested retail price of, I believe, $145. And it's also effectively just a repaint of a prior mold. I believe a Beast Wars or Beast Machine mold. So the community hasn't taken that too well, and this figure has really not sold well at all. I picked it up because it was on an Amazon Lightning deal last week for $45. So I figured, why the hell not? I will say, if you are interested in this, and I hope this review will help you, I have seen it on eBay for around $70 shipped. That's probably about the best price I've seen besides this Lightning deal that I was able to jump into. All ingoing biases aside, let's give this figure an honest look and check it out. Now, it is a big figure. This box is about 13 inches tall and about 11 inches wide. It does have this pretty cool kind of velcroed flap that opens up and reveals the figure underneath with push button trials for different lights and sounds, which you can do in the box. Okay, so we'll see more of those when we get the figure out. Over here on the flap, you can pause and read the Year of the Monkey Optimus Primal blurb right there. In terms of the rest of the box, there's not a lot to it. If you spin around the side, you get the Beast Wars Autobot logo. Flip it around the back here, and it's just some artwork of Optimus Primal, 17-step transformation, Year of the Monkey, and then you flip around this side, and it just has the Generation Transformers sign. So let's go ahead and pop this guy out of the box and check him out. So here's Optimus Primal out of the box. I gotta say, big imposing figure, about 11 inches tall. Classic Prime red and blue colors, which looks really good. Again, I don't know if I've mentioned it yet, but I'm not personally a big Beast Wars fan. I grew up as a G1 fan, sort of missed the whole Beast Wars thing, but I think it's a nice representation of the cartoon and the figure, and a nice big action figure. So I'll just quickly spin it around from all angles so you can take a look. It's so big, we'll have to go in closer to see all the details, but wide angle from the front. Again, just big imposing figure. Here he is from the side. It's almost difficult to even fit this guy in the frame. He's got the Autobot logo up there, Beast Wars logo. Just big bulky forms. You can't really see much. Higher up, you can kind of see his head peeking up. Here you have the back of the figure, which I think looks really good. It kind of ties in the robot and gorilla beast mode effect pretty nicely. It's not a ton of kibble. Overall, pretty simple, clean figure that'll go back and forth. Obviously, the bot mode looks a lot like gorilla, so that helps in terms of keeping it clean of a lot of excess kibble. So here's the right side of the figure, similar to the other side, right? So you got the logo here. You got some nice paintwork coming through the upper arm there as well. And then, I'm starting to get some appreciation for this translucent kind of red form plastic. Looks pretty neat. But let's go in closer and check out some of the details. So let's go in a little closer here on Optimus Primal. You can see it's a good looking figure. I mean, it's very toyish looking, but it does look pretty nice. There you can take a look at the head sculpt. Very sort of robotic gorilla sort of look to it, but I think it's appropriate. Again, very bright red and blues. You can see on the blue there, he's got, kind of this gorilla fur kind of pattern molded into the plastic. So that's a nice touch. He's got some kind of disc shooting thing here. It's a lot of gimmicks on this guy. We'll do a kind of a gimmick session separately here. Let's just take a look at him first. These big red translucent gorilla forms. And because he's almost 12 inches, let's just hop down here. You can see they give him kind of this ab plate. Kind of crotch section there. I've got a little poor paint app, but that's okay. He's got more of that gorilla fur mold kind of through the thighs and down with these robotic kind of shins and feet. Really cheesy looking feet. Here's the right side of the figure, and like I said before, if you get up high enough, you can actually see his head poking out there over his shoulder. He's got this kind of gorilla piece up here as well. Then it comes down into the arm. You got the icon there. Some nice kind of paint app there down the side of the arm here. Back into those big forearms. And if I just move one of those forearms out of the way here, he has super ratchety joints, by the way. So we'll look at articulation, but really tight joints. You can see the side of that leg. And then down here, the side of the calf, you see more of the gorilla section actually coming through the back. Here's the back of the figure. You just barely see his head peeking out there. He's got this big fur piece on his back, which unfolds, and he has a jetpack there. Again, I'll show you some of the gimmicks. See the back of the arms, pretty consistent with the front. There you get the back of the waist, kind of through the crotch. It all looks kind of flimsy through here. I mean, the way these legs, got these big legs, skinny kind of waist. You can see the pins there. Really, really tight leg joints there as well. Almost think I'm going to break them. I almost thought they didn't move at first. They do move, and when I do move them, I think I'm going to break them. Back of the gorilla legs, see the knee joint, and back of the calf, getting more of the gorilla trim. So let's take a look at articulation and just really go section by section. So his head here is really kind of loose. It goes side to side. You can probably spin it around if you get that gorilla piece out of the way there. Doesn't really go up and down or anything like that. His arms will go out to the side. These panels can be moved, so you can put those up to get kind of the full range of motion and sort of place them back how you would like them. So you can do that. And each arm actually does have a little bit of different articulation. So let's kind of look at them both. Again, you can get that guy up there too. So you can do this. They will twist on that joint as well on both sides. Just super, super ratchety and tight. Hard to really move. You can't swivel it. There's no bicep swivel on this right arm. He does bend at the elbow. So you get this elbow bend. So you can do things like that. Now this arm, similarly, elbow. This one does give a bicep swivel. The reason this one doesn't give a bicep swivel because this has this kind of gorilla punching action, which we'll look at more with the accessories, but it's got kind of a spring load push in it. So that's a gimmick, which limits the articulation, which is fine. In terms of his hand articulation, he does have these really big hands. You get a wrist swivel in there. You get some individual finger articulation, as you can see, kind of at the base of the hand and then the middle knuckle. So you get that type of articulation with the fingers. And then the thumb is just kind of on this flipping joint, so it can at least go back and forth a little bit to be open or more closed. Now the waist articulation in bot mode is tricky because you're going to want to just kind of twist them, but that's not what you do because you see these panels in the front and back get in the way. So that's more of a transformation motion right there at the top. I always trigger sound effects when I grab them. So what you really want to get the bot articulation is it's down just sort of a level lower, if you will, and tricky. You need to actually do it by the legs, I think. There. It's really actually below where the abdominal plate connects on that ball joint. There is a seam there, and you can use that for our waist articulation. So it's there, just a little bit tricky to use. Then in terms of his leg articulation, there is kind of this just single peg into the hip there, which is super tight, and I almost thought it didn't move at first, but it does ratchet out about like that. So you can do that. I swear that will break probably if you're not really careful how you apply the force. Can go up about like that. Knee will bend. Oh, about like that. Not too bad. take it back pretty far. You can actually almost double joint the knee like that. I think that's more for probably transformation. Maybe. Looks a little unnatural because you get that effect, but you can get it all the way up. But there is no thigh swivel or anything like that. You come down into his feet. They'll rock back and forth. They don't spin, but they do, again, ankle pivot, but it's super tight. So all his joints are really ratchety and clickety, which some people might like, but I think it actually makes it a little bit harder to pose in a lot of ways. In terms of his gimmicks, which he has quite a few of, you can, of course, push his center of his chest in here like this. There's quite a few of these. I won't do them all, but you can also push more of the whole square in and get sort of a different type of effect. There you go. See if he does some other ones. Nope, we get transform when we go down. We get the jungle music if you push towards the top. So maybe there's some fixed things he does every time. So center, sort of the theme music. Down, more theme music. It says you can push the center and then the head down. So that's the power up. See how the eyes light up? So you could do those in either bot or gorilla mode. I don't know that the gorilla mode's any different in terms of the effects, but we'll check it after we get him transformed. He also does this shooting disc here, so you can see through the waist. He's got this blue disc wedged into his chest. If you spin him around, there's a button on his back. Unfortunately, it's not easily accessible. You need to kind of get some stuff out of the way here. And it's here, this little lever. So when you push that, shoots the disc. So here's the blue disc. Loads right into his chest. And again, just push the lever. It's not a whole lot of force to it. It actually kind of goes just about as well as you push it forward from the back. So it's not like there's a real spring effect on the disc. It's just wedged in there pretty tight. And there's a spring on this lever that kind of accumulates the force. When you push it forward, the lever gets whacked into the disc, basically, which makes it go, sometimes pretty lame. For his disc, actually, if you have the electronics sort of moving or having been working them, you'll get an effect on the disc as well. So I hinted at this gimmick before, but this arm, again, with the different articulation, it does have this spring load effect into it, which you can see is different than this arm, which is on a ratchet. So you can get this gorilla punch effect. They say you can kind of get this out of the way a little bit more to get a little bit more spring load into it. Actually, it will ratchet away if you go up high enough. But you do get this spring effect kind of in between the ratchets. So that's a gimmick. And then for his last gimmick, and what I'm noticing to get any of the gimmicks going, you kind of need to have the electronics sort of flowing a little bit. So if he's been sitting, just give him a little wake-up call. Spin around the back. He's got this jetpack, so go ahead and push the button. Gives the jetpack ready effect, and then when you pick him up, he sort of knows he's flying. So when you go side to side, gives a certain sound effect. When you go down, you get that sound effect. When you're more side to side, you get this sound effect more side to side. So that's his flying sound effects. So here he is in beast mode. This is gorilla mode. I'm going to show him to you kind of standing up like this, like a little person, just so you can see the figure pretty well, and then I'll show you how to get him into a better gorilla position. I'll also show you a transformation towards the end of the video for that technical support, or if you're just curious to see how it works. And one thing I did notice through transformation is his chest. You can see I've kept it with this blue circle out. I think that's looks best when he's in gorilla mode. I think it looks best for both modes. He comes packaged like that in bot mode. You can actually flip this piece. Like this. And it's just plain red. And I think this is actually the more proper bot mode chest part. So I believe the way it came packaged with the blue circle chest shape out, that is actually the gorilla chest, and this is actually the bot chest. If you prefer, I actually, like I said, prefer to just keep the blue circle chest piece out in both modes. It's not a big deal. I think it just looks better. But if you're a technical specialist, you might want the all red side in bot mode. So here you can get a good wide angle look at the figure. I think the gorilla mode looks really nice. You see all of the molding really start to come together for the piece. This translucent forms really look cool. They've got kind of a light piping effect as well, so that's pretty cool. Here you can see profile view comes a little cleaner with the gorilla head up top. Looks really good. Around back here, not too shabby, not too bad at all. One thing I do think that looks funny is just this piece. I assume this is supposed to be kind of like his butt or something, but it's just pretty high up, so it looks funny. When we get him in more gorilla mode, it looks probably a little bit better, but still not perfect. Here's that right side again, and it's really kind of cool, just through here. Nice paint application, big red forms. Let's take a quick look at that gorilla head up close. I think they did a nice job. You can see a lot of sharp teeth in there. It's a nice, really dark, black, gray sort of color to the gorilla. It's got a silver face, black eyes. And there's some nice molding in there as well. This kind of robot gorilla effect. Mechanical here, gorilla here. His jaw does not articulate, unfortunately, but I think it looks good the way they've got it posed, opened with the teeth. So yeah, I think the gorilla head is really, really sharp. Definitely the cooler looking head. I think the bot mode head, it's appropriate, I think, for what they're trying to do, but this head just looks a lot better in my opinion. And then if we just go up and down this guy, which I think we can do in one pan since he's now shorter, you can see all the gorilla molding really starts to come together. The red on the top, the blue in the arms, the chest piece, that all ties very nicely. Translucent red chest piece, red forms, all looks good. I think the midsection comes together pretty nice. Then the gorilla legs come together pretty well. And the feet, the feet are, I think, just okay. They're basically it's basically just a fixed foot with some molded toe effect on it, so nothing too special. Checking them out from the side, you get to profile the head, which looks cool. I think it all looks really good. Just kind of the thickness of the figure, the balance, it looks pretty good. Of course, he's just going to be all big gorilla arm, mostly down the side. Then around back of the figure, this piece pretty much stays where it is the whole time, obviously. It's the flying effect. But if you don't have that always down for the jetpack effect in bot mode, it stores the same place either way. So nothing too different there. There you've got kind of the high butt, which I think still looks a little odd. And then the back of the legs, they use some paneling from the feet to cover the back. So not the best effect down here, unfortunately. And then this side really exactly the same as his other side. So in terms of gimmicks, obviously a lot of carryover from his bot mode gimmicks. Not a lot of difference, just some slight tweaking. So the chest piece still works. and still does basically the same stuff. The new effect is you can push the head here, and he does the growl. And I don't know how easy it is to see, but his gorilla eyes do get red. Might be a little difficult to see with bright light, but pretty cool effect. So I've just got the lights dimmed here to see some of the gimmick effects with more in the dark, let's say. So you can see the chest lighting up, and then the eyes. Hopefully you can see that a little bit better. The red eyes light up, which is cool. Okay, center of the chest, kind of a little bit through the whole chest, but definitely brighter in the center. And the red eyes. You know, what's pretty cool is, it's probably hard to see in the dark, he has like this blue ball in his mouth. Pretty neat detail. I'm not finding that it does anything though. It doesn't light up or do anything interesting, but you do notice it is there. And just if you're curious, you can probably see that blue ball a little bit better here. Again, just a cool detail. It gives something to the inside of the mouth, but it's not gimmicky. It doesn't light up or anything. Be cool if it lit up blue. That would be pretty cool. In terms of the swinging arm, that's now over here, the way we've sort of swiveled him around. So this effect is now on this arm for kind of punching. And we should still find that his disc will work. Just make sure he stays active here. Can reach his disc around the back of his neck. So it looks like he just growls when he shoots the disc in gorilla mode. Yep. Okay, so like I said, I've been showing him to you in this standing gorilla pose just for simplicity and so you can get better visibility, but there is a better way to make him look like a gorilla. Honestly, you have to just sort of play with it a little bit. The directions don't give you really explicit, great guidance, but it starts with trying to get that hunched over, forward lean kind of effect, right? So legs back, chest angled, arms on the ground. So to do that, you want to lean him forward more, of course. So he has this swiveling mechanism, but these panels will be in the way, particularly this one in the back. So kind of open that panel up. Went ahead and give this one a little bit of an open. Otherwise, they always pop off. And let's give him a little bit of a lean forward here, both at the thigh. So he starts to come forward like that, and then stand him up more. So like this. So that's pretty good. A pretty good effect. Let's see what the best way is going to be to close it up. So that's the problem, is you can close it up like that, where now the butt piece looks even ridiculously higher. You can try to spin this around and put it down. So this is an option. And then you kind of flatten that out like that. So it's an option. It looks a little bit better, particularly from the side, but then you do have this piece just hanging out there, which looks funny. But it probably gives you the best effect from the side for sure. Kind of interferes with the thighs. And then you can kind of put this back up. Put the arms out a little bit, and there you go. Now he's in a little bit better of a gorilla pose, which I think looks a lot cooler. Very perfect, except for this piece. Now the beauty of this though is actually, I've been having these things pop off quite a bit, so you could actually do your own little bit of parts forming here if you want. Just take it off, because it's really just in the way with the legs. So you can do a little parts forming, a little bit of a hack there, if you'd rather have that look a lot cleaner. So that does look a lot better when you just pop off the panel. And then the one imperfection they still have is on the front. You don't see it too much. You can actually put his head up a little bit more there if you prefer. Looks okay straight on, but you can see from the side, really there's these metal prongs that are meant to go in there for the gimmick. So it doesn't look good from the side. But the real goof up is, oh, it's not too bad. That's actually pretty good. If you get him rotated up too high, you'll find that his head, which is in there, will start to expose more as like a midsection. So if you get him in too much of a stand, you really start to see that headpiece almost start to look like a waist piece, which was looking funny. I think this time I did my best work, and the abdominal piece still remains covering, and I get a nice angle, a nice silverback effect, silverback pose, straight legs, angled back, big forms out front. So looks pretty cool like that. And I'll just give you the quick 360 when he's in this pose, just so you can see what it looks like. Again, I think it looks a lot better than just the standing monkey sort of pose. But again, just the main problem is what to do with this piece. But that's on a ball joint. Pop it off. All right, now for articulation, you get a lot of what you had in bot mode. Just a few tweaks here and there. So he now has this big gorilla head. It does have this rotating section up top. Of course, all clickety because everything on this guy is clicky. So you get some decent kind of, like this. What is that? Maybe 120 degrees, something like that. Not a full range, but enough to get some poses. You get these same ratchet effects on the shoulders. You lose, obviously, the elbow because these panels are now facing down and locking the arms in place. So you lose that articulation. Fingers are all the same, of course, still. And then obviously here, it's not like he has a knee or anything. It's just this one big monkey thigh that comes down, and then his foot's there. And his foot does spin. There's no ankle tilt. It really just kind of rotates, again, a little bit. And I think you can play with some parts here if you want to get more range of motion. You can put that giant heel section down and get that more fully rotated, but still no ankle tilt. But that does help it move, point back and forth though as well. But it's supposed to be up like this. So here's that waist articulation. He keeps that. For the legs, they'll go back and forth like this. You kind of still get that outer ratchet. It just gets a little more interfered with, but you can do a little bit of a split effect. So not a ton of articulation, but I think this guy's really all about this type of pose, and a gorilla is just going to sort of walk like this. So I think enough to do what you'd want to do. Okay, so let me show you how to transform him. He's back in bot mode here, fully red chest out. Kind of got even the jetpack deployed here. Say we're playing with that. So the first thing you'd want to do is just fold that back up. Not a big deal. Give the head a kind of 180 spin there. Let's go ahead and get the chest piece we do want out, which is the one I prefer for both modes, but definitely want it for gorilla mode. Blue circle chest piece. Next, we want to bring the arm panels down to the side so they just kind of fold out like this, hinge out, and pivot, and come down. And there's a latch on the end. It's not a peg. There's no peg, but there's a latch that will latch over the end of the red piece to give that effect. So again, pop this thing out. Next thing, which is pretty minor, but the hands do a little bit of extension. So that one was actually out. Just helps with the gorilla mode to get a little bit past these big guards. Here's really the big maneuver. So kind of put this kind of back out of the way for a second. Slide that back. Drop these pieces down. That's these hinged pieces, these pieces that love to fall off. This one's on a ball joint, this one's just kind of on a double clip. So bring those down because now we want to rotate the entire torso. So we just want to bring the whole section around. It's tricky. You got to get it rotating up here at the shoulders, which is a little bit the trick. So there that is. And you want to put that back up because that's going to be the monkey abdominal section. And this is again that kind of butt piece, but let's go ahead and put that down this way for now. And you can put it up. Technically it goes like this, and this goes over it. So let's show you where I got to before I put him in the gorilla mode. Let's spin the legs back around. We always want the silver in front. So there's the waist articulation. Let's bring out the head. Just lifts up, pops out like that. Some metal kind of electronics hookups. Make sure those go in the holes. I was about to say you can't miss, but I just did. And we're almost there. It's just the legs now. So we've got the top of them, and now for the legs, just basically fold them in half. So bring it up around, fold it like this. The shin pops out to become the foot. Give it a twist. Get the toes facing forward. And the instructions, those looks like it's a handy heel. I actually want that up. Foot piece fills in the back, and this panel rotates to kind of fill in more. So we'll do that again over here, and just double joint the knee up so it folds in half. Shin comes out to become the foot, rotate it, put up the heel, the foot fills in the back of the leg, and twist the panel down. And there he is. That's the gorilla mode, kind of standing gorilla mode I had him in before I showed you my little modification. And actually, we're going to want to just flip his thumbs here. Flip the thumbs up so they come to the right side because we just flipped the whole torso over. So there he is. Transformed. So there you have it, guys. Transformers Generation 2016 Year of the Monkey Optimus Primal. You know, I gotta say, for 45 bucks, you know, it's fine. I'm not a big Beast Wars fan. I am an Optimus Prime fan. So considering all the gimmicks, the size of the toy, it's a decent mold for 45 bucks, you know, I think it's okay. I'm pretty happy with it. But at the same time, folks that complain it's a repaint, remolded, it's whatever, 145 bucks retail. That's all very good reasons to not like it as well. So like anything, depends on your preferences, how much you're paying, you know, just what you got to have. So your choice though, guys. Thanks for joining. Hope you liked the video. I'll see you next time.